Welcome back to another live. I'm excited for today's topic. We're going to be discussing, drum roll, how to stay consistent and disciplined. This was a topic that I had, what was it? How do you say that? Wow, my brain went haywire for a second. Was recommended. This was a recommended topic by one of our viewers. And so I want to share with you guys some tips and tricks that I use for myself, but also that I have used in my career with my clients. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm a personal trainer. Right now, I'm not seeing any clients. I've been taking a break from that specifically for a while now. But with that being said, I have seen how a lot of people struggle with consistency and discipline, specifically around the areas of health and fitness. But of course, we're going to talk about this in not just the area of health. We're going to talk about this in the area of everything when it comes to productivity in your business, when it comes to being consistent with healthy habits, and also discipline around being able to stick to what it is that you commit to, right? So keeping your promises that you make to yourself. Also, I'm drinking my greens today. I have been posting about these in pretty much all of my lives because I love them so much. They're active greens. I haven't been the best at posting them in the description or in the comments, but I do need to mention that because these are my favorite. They have so much good stuff. One of my favorite things is nitric oxide. I've struggled a lot of my life with like circulation issues and stuff, and so nitric oxide helps me a lot with getting more oxygen in my blood and helping me with circulation. Hi, Sarah. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Yeah, so to get started today, let's discuss my definition of consistency and discipline. So when I think of these two topics, I think of them a little bit different than some people. So a lot of people, when they talk about consistency, they think, okay, I'm going to teach you how to be consistent with the right things. Let me let you in on a little secret. Everyone is consistent. Everyone is consistent. They're just consistently doing the wrong things, right? So, for example, a lot of people may want to be consistent with eating the right foods, for example. Okay, well, your issue isn't consistency. Your issue is consistently doing the wrong thing or consistently eating the wrong foods, right? So we don't really need to work on our consistency per se. We need to work on changing our habits so that we're consistently doing the right things. If that makes sense, or does that make sense? I guess is a better way to say that. Your second lip, pink or black? I don't know what you mean by that. Someone else says English or Spanish. Obviously, right now I am speaking in English. I am learning Spanish, so hopefully that'll be something maybe I can make videos on in the future because that'd be really cool. I'm actually learning to become fluent in Spanish, which is super exciting. What's the best, Marlboro or LM? I don't know what that is. You're gonna have to let me know what you're talking about. Viking, okay. All right, I can get down with that. Thank you guys for the compliments. Hello from San Antonio. Hello from Rome. Oh, wow, all the way from Rome. Welcome, welcome, everybody. So, where are country? Right now, I'm in the United States. I am in Utah. So, anyways, when I think about discipline, because we just talked about consistency, right? Being consistent, it's not about I need to be better at consistency. It's about how do I change my habits so that I'm consistently doing the right things, okay? So now that I know that consistency is not my problem, let's talk about discipline. Discipline is basically when I decide that I want to take a certain action or I want to be disciplined in either my business or with my health and fitness or with whatever goal it is that I've set for myself. So, what I've found is that the people who have the best discipline are the people with the highest self esteem and the people who trust themselves the most. So, if you are trying to be more disciplined, then you need to work on building your self respect and your self trust. Because when you are someone who makes promises to yourself, even something as simple as, I decided that I'm going to start waking up early in the morning, right? I'm going to start waking up at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. or whatever it is, and then you don't do it. So you're speaking it and then you're not doing it. You're breaking your promises to yourself. And these look like tiny little things, right? Oh, I'm just saying it and I'm not doing it. It's not that big of a deal. But you are listening. Your subconscious is listening to you. So when you say something and you don't do it, you're breaking your trust with yourself. And this breaks your confidence. This lowers your self-esteem. And guess what else it does? It is setting you up for failure in the future, because guess what? When you speak something to yourself, you're not really going to believe you because you've done it in the past. You make a commitment or a promise and then you don't keep it. So why would you be able to be disciplined in any other area if you can't even do it with something as simple as, when I say this, I want to get up early, or I want to go to the gym today, or I want to do this better, and you don't. So that is one of the things I've seen people struggle a lot with, and not only other people, but with myself. Let me read some of your comments. We got a few more in here. Indian. Wow, very cool. Welcome. Maro Incardi? I don't know who that is. Indian dudes in the chat. Okay. Self-respect and self-trust. Yes. Discipline over motivation. Yes, and that's another great topic, right? A lot of people think that being disciplined is being motivated. Well, those things can build on each other, right? Because you can start becoming disciplined or building a routine or habits based on motivation initially, right? Like, okay, I have all this energy and this excitement to start being consistent in the gym, and so I'm going to start going to the gym, but eventually your motivation is going to wear off. We all have experienced this before, right? New Year's resolutioners. Like, oh yeah, I'm so excited. I have all this energy to get started on January 1st, and I'm going to go to the gym, and it happens for like a week or 2 or 3 maybe, right? And then you stop. This is because we are not practicing our discipline muscle. We are not practicing keeping the promises that we make to ourselves. So let's move on to the next tip that I have for you guys. And that is, don't speak something unless you are going to follow through with what you're saying. Because this is going to allow you to start having more trust with yourself, right? Building more credibility with yourself. So instead of saying, I promise to myself that I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week, when you know that you're not going to be able to do that. Okay, well, make something, a smaller promise to yourself that's more realistic. Maybe it's only 1 or 2 days a week, right? I promise to myself, I commit to myself that I'm going to go to the gym 2 to 3 days a week. Or maybe you're somebody who doesn't even want to go to the gym. I promise, or I commit to myself that I'm going to start going on a walk 3 days out of the week for 30 minutes. Doable, right? Every single one of us, as long as we have legs and that we can move, can go on a walk for 30 minutes every single, or 3 days out of the week. This is a very small and easy promise that we can make to ourselves that's going to slowly build our self-esteem, right? We're going to slowly build that self-respect, because now we are speaking something, we're actually doing it, which is building our self-trust, right? So this can be really powerful, even something so simple as keeping the little promises that we make to ourselves. I'm really fascinated by your eyes. Oh, thank you so much. You're so kind. Smaller increments and build upon that. Yes, exactly. And the book, what is it called? Atomic Habits is a really good book that touches on this concept, and that is changing, those tiny little things over time, right? Because we know that when we make tiny little incremental changes over a long period of time, we see huge results, right? So instead of overwhelming yourself by trying to change so much so soon, make it easier so that you're not so overwhelmed. So it's something that you can actually stick to, right? This can apply in your business too. Maybe you want to become more financially free and you're working in a job where you know you're not making enough money and you want to start a side hustle. Okay, well, you don't have to just all of a sudden start your business. Maybe step number one is I just commit to myself that I'm going to write down 5 ideas every day of things that I can do to create a side hustle, right? Or I'm going to write down 5 things that I'm passionate about that I could turn into revenue streams. So now you're getting your juices flowing, right? You're getting your creativity flowing. This is going to allow you to not become so overwhelmed and shut down by the idea of whatever it is that you're trying to do with your goals, right? So another thing with discipline that I've noticed with people, the more that someone is moving from the energy of I want to make myself better because I love myself, because I care for myself, the more likely they are to be successful. Because I've seen this a lot, once again, as a trainer, when I was working with clients and they came to me trying to change their body or lose weight or whatever because they hated themselves. They were super unhappy with the way they looked. Maybe it was, I hate my stomach, I hate the way I look in the mirror, some sort of issue, right? Well, they would be consistent to a certain degree, but then they would lose that momentum and become demoralized and not make it a part of their lifestyle. But it's because you're being driven by something that is very unhealthy. And I'm not saying that if you're super overweight, you don't have to love yourself, meaning like the way that you look per se. But what I'm saying is make sure that the intention that you're going into it with is, I want to do this for myself because I care about myself, not because I need to change this because if I don't change this, no one's going to love me. I'm inadequate. I'm not good enough. Well, that's just not the right energy to go into it with, because you're less likely to be successful. That's just what I've experienced in the past with different people and what I've noticed. So try to reframe the way that you are approaching your goals in your life and ask yourself, what does someone who cares about themselves do? Someone who loves themselves is going to be disciplined, right? If I really care about myself, am I going to wake up every single day and eat donuts for breakfast, or am I going to wake up every day and eat a healthy breakfast? Let's just be completely real. Which one is going to make me feel better, and which one is going to help me long term? It's pretty obvious, right? I'm going to wake up every day and I'm going to eat healthy. So, with this in mind, we have to understand that the more that I build my self-respect, like I mentioned earlier, the more that I trust myself, the more that I start to build care and love by taking care of me, the easier it will be to be disciplined, right? Because then I build a lifestyle because I want to do the things that are healthy for me now. Now I'm not having to like force myself every single day to do something that I hate, because I'm not doing it because of a have to. I'm doing it because I get to. And that leads me into another super important, powerful change, which is changing your language. Change the way that you speak about the things that you have to do every day, right? I have to get up in the morning. I have to go to the gym. I have to eat healthy. Think about how that feels like when you say that, right? It feels like terrible. Like, I don't want to do that. Now even something that I would want to do, if I phrase it like that, I don't even want to do it anymore. If I started telling myself, I have to go on vacation, I'm literally telling my brain that it's basically a chore. It's something I don't even want to do anymore, right? But we don't even think about wording it that way when we say we're going on vacation. We say we get to go on vacation, right? So start using that same language around the things that you do every day that you're trying to train your brain to start enjoying. So I get to go to the gym today. I get to eat healthy. So you're changing it from have to, which is seeing things in a lackful way, in a lack mindset, to get to. Now you're being grateful for the things that you have, right? Because if we want to be completely real, we're lucky that we have a body that can move, right? We're lucky, most of us, that we have a job, we can make money and all these things, but most people walk around every day and they're complaining about it, right? I have to get up, I have to go to work today, this is what I have to do. Okay, well, somebody somewhere else in the world is probably super jealous of you right now, thinking like how lucky they are to be able to get up and go to work. So perspective changes everything. So when you want to make yourself, if you want to become a consistent and disciplined person, a lot of the time it's just a perspective away, right? So instead of, oh my God, I have to do this thing, change your words. You get to. You get to get up every single day. You get to go to a job. Some people don't have a job. You get to move your body every day. If you're lucky enough, you get to go to the gym. If you're healthy enough to go to the gym, you're lucky enough to have, people in your life, hopefully. Learning to reframe the way that you see things and you talk about things will make a huge, huge difference in the quality of your life. Let me see if we have any more comments here. I agree, our goals have to be for us, not for others. That's not sustainable. Yes, exactly. Because eventually, if your goals and your intentions are motivated by, I need to, for example, as a woman or a guy, right? You're trying to change your body for your partner, let's say. Say your partner, you feel like isn't as attracted to you for whatever reason, right? And you're like, I need to lose 50 pounds or 20 pounds or whatever. You're going to lose the motivation because it wasn't something that you maybe genuinely wanted to do, but you're doing it for someone else. That was a really great topic, or a great tip that you brought up, Edgar. But yeah, so making sure that you're doing things for yourself so that you're not losing that motivation and also losing respect for yourself. Because when you're doing something for somebody else, chances are you're going to have resentment because you're not doing it for you, you're doing it for them. And that's never good. From me only. You guys are funny. But yeah, those are all things that have been really helpful for me. Initially, when I started as a trainer, I started working as a trainer when I was 19 years old, and I had a lot of body dysmorphia. I'm not going to pretend like I was perfect or anything. And I worked with a lot of people trying to help them get in shape and all this stuff, right? And I didn't even know at the time that a lot of my motivations for what I was doing was because I was super insecure about my body. And that motivated my behavior in a negative way, in the way that I was eating, because I wasn't eating enough at the time. But all this was motivated by the fact that I was trying to change my appearance because of the way that I thought other people perceived me, or because I thought that society says that women are supposed to look this way or this way. So we have to, at some point, get very clear on what it is that we want. Making sure that we're chasing the goal, we're moving toward the goal that we want, genuinely. And the only way you're going to know that is if you spend the time with yourself to get to know you, right? Like, you get to know other people, you spend time with them, you ask them questions. You need to do the same thing with yourself, right? Getting to know yourself by taking yourself on dates. I know that's maybe a dumb example, but journaling, writing things down in your journal, right? Asking yourself things like, what really makes me happy? Not only in your financial areas of life, like career-wise, job-wise, but health-wise. What truly makes you happy? What is something that you can do every single day as a lifestyle that's not going to be like a chore for you every single day? Maybe it's not going to the gym. For me, it's going to the gym. I love it. So now it's something that I look forward to. So it can easily be a lifestyle for me and healthy. But maybe for you, it's dancing. Maybe it's playing with your kids. Maybe it's walking your dog every day. Like, there's things that you can really learn about yourself that you can stick with that are healthy habits that won't be super hard for you to be consistent with and stay disciplined with. The language we use tends to be more negative toward ourselves than others. 100% true. We're always way harder on ourselves than other people are. And I think a lot of that has to do with we're afraid of rejection from others, so we reject ourselves before they can reject us. So when you start to care enough about yourself and stop worrying about what other people think of you, you become a very powerful person, because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day what other people's opinions are, because they're always going to have an opinion, right? There may be a lot of people in here right now saying, oh, wow, she's so pretty, she's so this. Well, guess what? I'm equally going to have a number of people hating on me for this or hating on me for that. But guess what? I don't care. Because at the end of the day, I understand that everyone is always going to have an opinion about me, positive or negative. So why do I care? The only thing that matters is how I think about myself and how I feel about myself. What if you love having the purpose of doing things for others? What is the main motive? That is my main motivation. I don't think that there's anything wrong with giving back, and being able to be of service to others, for example. But I think that you always have to make sure that you're checking in with yourselves. For example, I'll use the very cliche term of like a mother and a kid, right? If a mother is not taking care of herself, she's not going to be able to be the best that she can for her kids, because we're role models, right? Everyone who interacts with us, they may listen to our words, but really what they're doing is they're watching our actions. Your actions are so much more powerful than you think, right? So in this regard, if you're trying to be of service to others, the best service you can be to others is making sure that you are solid first. So if you are full within yourself, meaning that you feel good, you're taking care of your health, your finances, your spiritual health, your mindset, all these things are in place. If you're giving from a full cup, then you're solid. That's great to give back. In fact, that's a natural motivation, I think, of a good human, right? To give back and be of service. But I think sometimes people miss that. Sometimes they forget, I need to take care of me too. But what are you really giving if you're not giving from a full cup? Are you really being as impactful as you think you are? So I love that, Matt. Thank you for sharing that. I think that 100% that's amazing that you are able to give that. And maybe that is something that works for you. And if it works for you, great. I'm just saying, make sure you take care of you too, because you're important, It's also amazing to take care of yourself, and also, be there for others. So if the motivation works for you, if you're happy, you feel fulfilled and all that, then keep on doing what you're doing. If we think about it, when we try to encourage someone, we try to be positive. It's a change in mindset. Yeah, exactly. Like the difference between how someone speaks to their friend versus sometimes how they talk to themselves. Like you're never gonna look at your best friend and be like, damn, you look like shit today. It looks like you've gained 15 pounds. But we talk to ourselves that way, We look at ourselves and we're like, this is wrong with you. This person's gonna think you're this. And I think with most people, if they wrote in their journal or they wrote down on a piece of paper all the thoughts that they think about themselves in a day, most of us would be like, holy shit, like I'm mean. And if you're not, then you're probably an extremely happy person. Because if you're speaking really kind words to yourself, then that also correlates to how you feel, and you're going to feel amazing. My problem is knowing these things and not putting them into action. Yeah, and you're 100% right. I think you're not alone in that, Edgar, 100%. I think a lot of people struggle with that, right? A lot of people know what they need to do, right? We all know we need to eat healthy. We all know that we shouldn't talk negatively to ourselves. But why is it that we're not taking the action? And maybe one reason is because maybe we don't know how. Maybe we feel like, okay, this is overwhelming and I don't know how to put this into action. And I think also we become very complacent in our familiar situation. And it's easy to kind of just live in our mind in a way that's familiar, right? Meaning that if you were your whole life negatively talking about yourself, then it's normal for you to live in that place in your mind. And it's actually uncomfortable to change that. And so because it's natural it's our natural human conditioning to move toward familiar and away from unfamiliar because of survival reasons. 100% normal. So with that understanding, you can be less hard on yourself. Like, this is the reason why I don't make changes, because I understand that it's a human condition to stay familiar. But then you have to be real with yourself at the end of the day. If I really genuinely desire this change, then I have to change my thinking and change my energy. Otherwise, nothing changes. I mean, if you're staying the same and you're expecting change, you're insane, right? So just being real with yourself and then asking yourself, do I genuinely desire change? And if I do, then how am I showing up every day? What are my actions showing me? Because words are one thing and actions are another. Actions will always show your true beliefs and how you truly feel. Because we see this every day, right? We see the people that are like, oh, hey, bro, I'll promise I'm going to do this for you. Or, hey, I promise I'm going to do this. Or, I'm going to do this in the future. Most people, we don't believe them when they say that. Especially if it's the person in your life that you know makes empty promises. We don't believe them. So why would we believe ourselves when we say that to ourselves consistently? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Well, guess what you're doing? You're training yourself to not believe you. So that's why I mentioned earlier. Don't make promises to yourself that you're not going to keep, because it's going to keep degrading your self-esteem. Jake Paul, who you got? Tyson versus Jake Paul. Yeah, I'm gonna be watching the fight tonight with my family. It's gonna be fun. I'm putting my bets on Tyson, and I think it's because, I don't know. I think Jake Paul, he's just super young and kind of in his cocky era, and it's always good to see the young guys who who think they're the shit that get their ass whooped. Maybe I'm just a little savage, but. And I also think it'd be super cool. I mean, as old as he is, being able to fight like that and still be able to like knock a young guy out who's like 30 years younger than him, that would be pretty impressive. If the friendship gets close, you would tell your friend that you would tell them the truth. Yeah, honestly, you have a valid point in saying that, and actually I agree with you, but I'm saying for the general population, for example, most of the girls that I know, most of the friends that I've had, most of them will not speak negatively to their friends. Like, you're going to be a lot softer and kinder and more compassionate with your friends than you often are with yourself. But on that exact comment that you just said about friendships telling the truth, I 100% agree, and I find that the sad truth is, especially with women, they're not honest about those types of things with their friends, with their girlfriends. For example, I'm gonna give you guys a little warning here, because this may be triggering to some. Oftentimes, when a girlfriend will talk to their other friends and they say, hey girl, like, I'm having an issue, like dating, for example, or I'm having an issue here, this problem, and then the girl's just like, oh my God, like, it's the dating scene, or something's wrong with the guy, or this or that, but they won't be honest about the fact that their friend may actually be like either needing to lose weight, or maybe they are negative, or maybe they're like super into gossiping and stuff like that. Their girlfriend won't point that out and won't be honest, because they want to keep the friendship. They're afraid of hurting the person and stuff like that. So I'm someone who is a lot more honest. Maybe that's why I don't really have a lot of girlfriends, but I find that it's a lot more loving to be honest with people than to sugarcoat shit and lie to their face. Because I'd rather see my friend get a little bit butthurt by me and actually be able to make changes in their life than lie to them and be like, oh no, girl, you're a queen. Nothing's wrong with you. Not true. All of us have room for improvement. So I love that you said that, because that just shows that you're probably a lot more honest and real and truthful, which means we'd probably get along pretty well. What should we do then? What do you mean, what should we do? What should we do about friends, or what should we do? I mean, if you're talking about friendships, I think that you should just be honest with them. Tell them the truth. And I think that we should also do the same thing with ourselves, right? Be truthful about the things that we know we need to change, right? But do it in a way that's not degrading. For example, some people may have the approach of like, oh, you're a piece of shit and something's wrong with you and you're inadequate and no one's ever going to love you. I don't think that's a great way to go about it, because I think that's very harsh and mean. But being real is another thing, right? Like, hey, I love you and you need to get healthy. I love you and you need to change your perspective. I love you and I think that you're in a toxic relationship and I think you should find someone else. Those are just facts, right? That's just real talk. And there's ways to say it that are kind, and there's ways to be like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, why are you doing that? You know? I don't think that people are going to have the best response when they're being talked to that way. That's, oof, at least in my experience. So I wish you the best for you and your family, you wonderful person. Goodbye. Oh, thank you so much. You're so sweet. No, I meant, what should we do to make a change if we need to stop making promises? Okay, great question. So he just asks, what should we do? Because I just said, don't make promises that you can't keep to yourself, right? So instead of making a ton of promises that you can't keep, start making promises that you know you can keep, even if they're dumb and even if they're small, like I mentioned. Okay, let me give you a hypothetical example. You're somebody who wants to be more consistent with your health and fitness. And you've been in the past telling yourself, okay, I'm going to go to the gym today, and then you don't do it. I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow, and then you don't do it. I'm going to eat healthy tomorrow, and then you don't do it. Okay, well, clearly it's not working, so we need to change it, right? So what we're going to do instead is we're going to make a small commitment and promise to ourselves that we know that we can do. Something as simple as, I'm going to start drinking more water every day, and giving yourself an amount. I'm going to start drinking 2 liters of water every single day. That's where I'm going to start. Nothing huge, nothing crazy. And then after that becomes a habit for you, maybe after a month, you say, okay, now I'm going to focus on eating more protein every day. I'm just going to start adding protein into every meal and making sure that I'm changing a little bit of what I'm eating. Or I'm going to start walking, like I mentioned. Okay, I'm going to start taking a 10-minute walk every day. Something that you know you can stick to, that you know that is not very hard for you to do, and stacking those little habits, because it's going to build your self-esteem and your confidence. But I'm saying, don't set yourself up for failure by promising to do things you know you can't do, or you know you're not going to have time for, or you know that you're going to make excuses for. Because at this point, if you are making these statements and not doing it, it's because you don't trust yourself already. So you're basically having to repair a damaged relationship with yourself first, right? What happens to you and your friend if you say, your friend invites you to go out and you're like, yeah, sure, I'll come, and then you don't show up? How many times are you going to do that until your friend's like, yeah, shut up. You're not going to be there? Because you always say it and you don't do it. You do that with yourself, and then you're surprised when you don't believe you. So we have to repair that relationship with ourselves. And we do it by keeping promises to ourselves, by not making promises we know we're not going to keep. So simple stuff. Super, super simple. The more simple it is and the easier it is, the better, because you know that you're going to do it. Yes, saying you're the best all the time is such a fake thing. Me as a guy very rarely did it. Yeah, exactly. And I know that some people will say things like affirmations are really powerful, and I agree. I think that saying things like I'm powerful, you know, I'm healthy, I'm this, I'm that, right? That's great. But what's even more powerful is being able to get real with yourself and start being the person, right? I'm not saying that you shouldn't use affirmations. If it's something that makes you feel good, then do it. But if you're doing an if you're doing an affirmation and you're not taking actions and you're just sitting on the couch and you're like, I'm successful, I'm successful, I'm successful. And then you watch Netflix every single day for months on end. You're never taking action toward your goals. Well, you're just building more and more and more of like a shield over yourself where you don't believe anything you say. Because everything you say is not registering. It's not becoming a part of your beliefs. If it becomes a part of your beliefs, you're going to see yourself taking action. There's the biggest differentiating factor between someone who says something and someone who does something. The person taking action is the one that believes the thing, right? So if your affirmations are working, you're going to know they're working because they're going to change your actions, right? So if I'm saying every day, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, and then I'm believing it and I'm feeling it, and then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I need to go to the gym now. I need to go eat healthy now. Then you know that your affirmations are working because you're changing how you're showing up. You're changing your daily actions. Love the honesty. Yeah, you're so welcome. Daily small goals, 100%. Do you prefer... What is with these weird questions? Okay, I'm not going to answer that because that's not part of today's discussion. I don't think it matters what I prefer. I think it matters what you prefer. Anyways, so yeah, and for anybody who hasn't read the book Atomic Habits, if this is something that you're specifically struggling with in your life, I highly recommend that you read that book because it's very helpful and it breaks down the power of how important it is for you to compound your positive habits, and even just 1% different today, 1% different in 100 days, you're going to be 100% different because tiny little changes over a period of time make such a huge difference. Did you just start your YouTube lives? Yes, like a week ago or so, maybe a little over a week ago. I used to do YouTube a little bit, like about a year or so. I was making a ton of YouTube shorts and things like that. And then like I told my audience in my first live, I got into a relationship and then we were traveling a lot and I was doing business and traveling. So I was extremely busy and just, juggling life and wanted to take a break from my social platforms. So that was honestly really, really good for my mental health. So anyways, that was a fun time of my life. I had a super blast, went so many places last year. Well, not last year, this year. And yeah, and now I'm back. I feel like it's time again for me to get on here, and I find it super fun to share and talk and have cool convos with my virtual friends. Yes, Atomic Habits. It's like an investment, compounding progress. Yes, 100%. I mean, little tiny investments, right? Like you save $10 a day, how much are you going to have in a year? You're going to have quite a bit, right? It doesn't seem like a lot. I mean, even $1 a day. We're like, oh, it's just $1, right? A lot of us will just go and oh, you spend it here, and we don't think about it. But if we use that same energy or money or time, a little tiny bit every single day in a year, we're going to be a whole lot different. So ask yourself, every one of you guys, right, watching this right now, what is your main goal or focus for 2025? Like, what is it that you really want to see change in 2025? Is it your financial situation? Is it your health? Are you trying to find your perfect partner? Are you trying to find friends? Get very clear on what it is that your main intention or goal is. And then when you're clear on that, I want you to ask yourself very, very honestly, what is it that I need to be doing every day that I know I should be doing that I'm not doing? And then ask yourself, why am I not doing it? And just listen, because you will get the answer. Your subconscious will come through and be like, oh, it's because either your belief is, I don't believe that I can get it. Oh, well, there's your limiting belief. Or it's too hard. Limiting belief. Or I don't believe good men or good women exist. Limiting belief. It's our limiting thought processes and our limiting beliefs that are stopping us from having everything that we want. So you have to get clear on those things. Something in your mind, some thought processes are blocking you from what it is that you want, and you have to stop, ask the question, and then be real and say, okay, what am I going to do every day? What small thing can I do every day that I know is going to move me closer? Super simple, super easy. And then, like I said, break it down into very, very small steps. Something simple. Right now, I'm eating McDonald's 3 days a week. Okay, I'm going to eat McDonald's 2 days a week. Or, oh crap, I know that I probably shouldn't be doing this thing this many days a week. Okay, well, I'm going to do it 1 day a week instead of 3. Simple. Very simple. And you're going to build momentum, right? You're going to start saying, oh shit, I did that. I believe in myself. I can do this. What countries did you go to? I went to Mexico, Guatemala, Brazil, Costa Rica. I went to a few places in Brazil, actually. And I also went to Europe. So I went to Amsterdam, Germany, Paris. Super fun. I think that's it. And I think this month I'm going to be going to Colombia, which I'm super excited for. So yeah, there's been a whole lot of traveling, and I went to a lot of different places in Mexico. It was mostly Latin America, just because I've been doing business. I was actually working with my boyfriend, and that's actually how we met, is through business. And yeah, so we do a lot of traveling and work in Latin America, which is one of the reasons why I need to learn Spanish. It's fun. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, you're so welcome. I'm happy to help. My main goal is to improve my health. Well, there you go. Perfect. You know? And there's so many cool ways to improve your health nowadays. Like, we're so blessed to have access to the internet and to gyms nowadays. Like, they're so cheap. You can go to a gym nowadays for $10 a month. Like, that is like cents per day that you can go to a gym and start getting yourself healthy. And so we really can't use excuses anymore for, like, not being in shape and all that stuff. You can watch videos, you have access to YouTube for amazing content and podcasts and all this stuff. So we're really blessed to to be able to have access to these things that are very, very helpful. You now have an international viewer. Oh, I love it. Iranian. Yes, I'm American. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining the live and for interacting. That's what makes it super fun. Negative beliefs. How do you recommend dealing with setbacks? I guess we just can't be discouraged. Yes. Number one is be kinder to yourself, first of all, instead of beating yourself up for what you haven't done in the past, or I haven't been successful until now, or at my age I should be further along, or whatever. Like, forget that. Forget all that crap, right? And then just from now on focus on the little things that you can do. And do your best to try to retrain your thinking, because that's something that holds most people back, is their thought processes, because most people walk around very unconscious of their thinking, right? Most people are walking around thinking that I can't do this or I can't do that, but they're not even aware of what thoughts are going on in here. They say we have about 60,000 thoughts a day. Most of them people are unaware of, and that is what is stopping you from your goals. So even if you aren't to do anything, becoming aware of your thoughts can be step number one. Sitting with yourself in a form of meditation. 10 minutes a day of just sitting there and saying, well, I'm gonna look at my thoughts. I'm just gonna be quiet and I'm gonna be the observer. I'm gonna just watch like I'm watching clouds and just listen to my mind. Listen to it just spinning and going and saying, oh, why are you sitting here? We should probably start being productive. Oh, I need to do this later. And like, oh, I gotta take out the trash. And oh, this person called me. I need to get back with them. Your brain's telling you all this stuff, right? Those are all thoughts that are running behind the scenes constantly that we don't pay attention to. And so becoming aware of that can be extremely helpful. Let me see if I answered all the questions. Do you speak any other languages than English? No, not right now. I'm in the process of learning Spanish, which happens to be another super common language around the world. So, and then after I learn Spanish, I'll probably learn another one too because I find it really fascinating. And I love connecting with different cultures, different people around the world, and I find that you really can't do that without being able to speak with them because Google Translate is just not the same. Like connecting with other people is on a whole nother level when you speak the language. Blessed to have you, public online coach. Yeah. And yeah, I've offered a lot of different coaching. Also on my Instagram page, I wrote like a little ebook on the topic of like inner child healing, which kind of goes a lot deeper into this topic of like thoughts and reprogramming your mindset and nervous system and everything. If you guys are interested, you can go check out my Instagram. I have been pretty bad at being consistent over there as of right now. I pretty much started up like literally a couple weeks ago being consistent. And I started with YouTube because I love the platform so much. But what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to start doing lives on all of the platforms just so that I can use that as a way to get myself out there more. And then who knows, maybe I'll do more, but I didn't want to overwhelm myself in the beginning. You know, I'm taking my own advice, guys. This is me taking my own advice instead of making excuses about why I couldn't start up my platforms again because, oh my God, it's too much information or it's too much to do. Like I have to post on all the platforms. I was like, you know what? That's an excuse. I'm not going to let that sabotaging behavior get in the way. I'm going to start on YouTube. I'm just going to get on there. I'm going to make it super simple. I'm going to start making live videos. I don't even have to worry about the editing. Like super simple and easy. Hello from Turkey. Welcome. Are you a psychologist? No, I'm not. I am someone who has lived a very turbulent life and done a lot of research and have learned a lot through my life experience and also the people around me. It's pretty incredible how many things you can learn by going through challenging experiences in your life. And that is what has made me who I am today. So yeah, I've learned in I like to call it the school of life. I'm not opposed to going to school eventually for something like that because I think I would be really good at it just because of my background and the things that I've gone through. But the honest truth is that I haven't gone to a lot of school in my life, and I actually, maybe in totality, have gone to about 6 years of school in my entire life, literally, because I was not put into school until about the 3rd grade and then was taken out again in 7th, I believe. Yeah. 7th grade due to some problems because my parents had very strict beliefs and didn't want me to be connecting with people who weren't involved in religion and things like that. So everything that I have learned pretty much has been self-taught. And actually, I went to 1 year of high school. I went to 11th grade. So 1 year of high school, which was challenging because, like I told you, prior to that was 7th grade. So I had to catch up in a lot of years of education. And yeah, so something else that taught me was that if you have a will to learn, you will learn. If you have a desire to do something, you'll do it. And especially with how blessed we are with online access, I've learned so much through YouTube, watching videos and doing my own research, that it's been pretty cool. I'll have to check out your Instagram. Yeah. I probably should also check it to make sure that it's still up and running, because sometimes, the links need to be updated and stuff like that. Yeah, and once again, every challenge, like me not going to school, for example, like I saw it as such a negative thing, and poor me for a lot of my life. But then I recognized that maybe that was actually the best thing that could have happened, because through that experience, I learned to value education more. I learned to be more appreciative of the access that I have to cool information and all that stuff, right? So that goes back to my video I made yesterday, right? Turning your challenges into your blessings. So it's all about perspective. That's another amazing thing that life taught me through challenging experiences, is like, okay, well, I have a choice every day to either become a victim and blame everybody else and be like, oh, poor me, or I say, damn, that was rough. What can I learn from this? Former Mormon. Glad you made it through. Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, Mormon polygamy, to be exact. A very interesting religion, but yes, very similar to traditional Mormonism, but a lot more strict, and a lot bigger families, because you have a lot of cousins and a lot of aunts and a lot of grandmas. So pretty interesting way of living. In fact, now, being out of it and stuff like that, I'm so grateful because of the amazing things that I learned and the perspective that you get when you live a life of being in a cult-like situation like that, and then being out of it. Like I felt like I lived two lives. Like now I'm in a completely different world, And that happens through changing your perspective and seeing the world through a different lens. And that was very, very powerful. So a lot of identity shifting. It was a lot of completely restructuring what I thought was true about life, because your whole life shatters, especially when you're raised in such a bubble, right? I'm former Mormon too, but the more streamlined version. Yeah. Yeah, and it's a lot of the similar stuff. But, I don't hate on people who are religious or anything like that. I personally don't believe in it, because I have a different perspective now, just based on experience once again. But if it works for you, more power to you. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It means a lot. Yeah, it's something that, once again, like, I am very grateful for, because I've been lucky enough to have support in my life where I've needed it, and, at times didn't have support, and that also helped me, because I had to become my own supporter and help myself and learn to rely on me to give myself, those things that I needed. So it's pretty cool. It's very fun, and also sometimes good for me to, also remind myself, like, damn, I've come really far. If I look back and, 10 years ago to where I am now, it's insane. I'm a different human. I'm a completely different person. Life experiences and life choices make us who we are. Yes, 100%. Yep, because there's a lot of people who've also gone through challenging experiences, and they're not so good, right? We have the traditional examples of people who've lived rough lives, and they're in drugs, and they're in prison, or they're miserable, and it really does come down to that. It comes down to choices. And I can't say exactly what it is that motivates one person to change in a positive way and one to go down the dark path. I have yet to learn that. I definitely have had those questions a lot in my life, but I don't know exactly what it is. What's your motivation for this live stream? Just helping people. I would say that my main motivation and my intention with live streaming is Number one, it was to get myself out of my self-sabotage. Number one, because, for example, I was telling myself, right, speaking, I want to impact others. I want to build a community. I want to also give great energy and information, education, wisdom in exchange for financial abundance, but also friendship, community, and energy. I wanted this flow of abundance, meaning when I give and I receive, and I give and I receive, and I give and I receive. And I feel that that's what I get when I build a community of other like-minded individuals. So it's my intention is to give and help, and do so by helping myself and helping others. So it's like, you can call it selfish if you want to see it that way, but personally I see selfishness as a positive thing. So by helping myself, I'm helping you, right? Everything I've done in my life was selfish. I had to help myself and be selfish to get myself where I am. But the only reason I can help you guys today is because I was taking care of me first, right? So that is kind of the intention behind this, is to create a reciprocal relationship. And I think that's something that's very powerful that I can teach others, is that when you give from your overflow, when you give from abundance, when you're giving from the place of, I'm solid now because I took care of myself, I'm taking care of my health, I'm taking care of myself in my relationship, meaning that I'm surrounding myself with good people and I'm setting my boundaries, and I'm also making sure that I'm financially good, because we all need to be taken care of financially, right? We know this. There's nothing wrong with wanting financial abundance and riches and luxury and all this great stuff. But we need to have the give and take, right? The authenticity comes when we understand that we fill ourselves up and then we overflow to others by giving. That's where I'm at with that. Please consider me part of your community. Oh, that's so sweet. Thanks so much. I'm happy to have you. Altruistically selfish. Yes, that's a great way to state that. So that's kind of what I'm here to do. And I also want to lead by example. That means a lot to me, because I have a hard time with people who just talk and don't do. And I just like really want to make sure that I'm the person that is the person who speaks it and lives it, right? Because like I mentioned before, if you are talking but you're not living it and showing it, you're really not doing much for people, because people learn way more powerfully from mentors and role models, people who they can observe and see living it, because it's so much more real. It's more believable, it's more trustworthy, it's more everything, right? I'm sure you guys can agree with me. So when I see someone who's living it, then I'm like, that okay, that person is my mentor, right? The people who I see that have their life going on all cylinders, those are the ones that I'm like, okay, I'll listen to you, because you are healthy and you say it, you're living it. You know, you're saying that you want to be rich, but you are, and you're living it. You know, you want a healthy relationship, and I see it, and you're living it, right? Now I know that that I want to learn from you. I want to absorb, what you're doing, because you also need to be careful, like, who you're taking advice from, because they got where they are doing what they're doing. So if you really like where someone is in their life, then you're probably better off taking advice from them. At least that's kind of what I live by. Can you give an example if you don't mind? Andres, would you give an example of what? Can you be more specific? I think it's helpful to keep each other accountable, keep each other honest. Yes, 100%. In fact, you're way more likely to be successful if you have someone to keep you accountable. And I think that's another great thing, right, about having amazing people in your life, like good friends, a good community, because you guys can help me keep me in check. If I'm speaking something like, hey, I want to be doing lives every day, and then you see that I'm not showing up, and you're like, sending me a comment or a DM and you're like, hey, you told, your community that you were going to show up every day and what's up, right? That keeps me accountable. So I love that. I think it's 100% true, and I agree with you. At the same time, keep ourselves accountable, of course. Yes. Yeah, and one of those things by keeping yourself accountable is understanding that it also helps to have other people in your life, right? So you're holding yourself accountable by surrounding yourself with good people. The part about sharing. Can you give an example if you don't mind? Sharing? I think I'm still a little confused. Okay, so you're asking me, give an example, the part about sharing. Okay. Sharing what? I'm still confused. Sharing. I'm trying to think about what I was talking about. Something you said about absorbing something and share it. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're talking about like absorbing, making sure that I'm good, absorbing good information, and then sharing it with people. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. So what I'm saying is, what I've done is I've taken care of myself, in all these ways, absorbed good content, good information, and made sure that I'm solid within myself, so that when I show up, I'm giving to you guys from overflow and not from pouring from an empty cup. And I've been in a place before where I've done that. Like some of my content that I was making, I want to say it was around 2020. I was doing it from the place of kind of coming from empty. And what I mean by that is I was making content and doing it. Yes, I wanted to help people, but I wasn't good. Like I was really, really struggling. I was struggling mentally. I was in a depression. And of course, people didn't really see it on my videos so much. But you could kind of tell because the quality of my content wasn't 100% there. You could kind of probably sense it if you're intuitive through my energy. You could kind of tell that there was something like not right there. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Is there's not really a problem with you making content, if your goal is making money and building a business and all that stuff. But what I'm saying is you become a lot more successful, you become a lot more influential and someone that people want to follow when you are being who you say you want to be and living what everybody wants. And that is, tell me who doesn't want health, right? And energy and excitement. Who doesn't want to be happy and in love with their life? Who doesn't want to have the partner that is like their best friend? They have amazing romance, that they're doing fun stuff together. And who doesn't want to be like rich? And I mean rich in your terms. Like who doesn't want to be financially free to the point where they don't have to stress about money anymore? They have free time. They can do what they want with their money. They have the money if they want to help this person and this person and do whatever they want, right? You get to flow your money where and when, and you always have the exact amount that you need. Everyone wants that, right? So that's what I'm talking about, is if I'm good and I'm making sure I'm solid by taking care of those areas of life. No, I'm not perfect. Do I have the millions of dollars in my bank account or whatever right now? No. Am I good though? Yes, I'm good. And I'm moving toward my goals. But right now, I'm in a solid place. And when I show up here, I'm giving to you guys my overflow. I'm giving to you from my life experience, my happiness, my authenticity. I'm showing up more real than I did in the past. Not that there's anything wrong with the past version of me. I was doing the best that I could. But my goal is to be improving, over year after year after year. Let me see. Filling your cup first and spilling all the goodness to others. Exactly. And that's the best way to be, right? And then there's no resentment because you're giving from overflow. Resentment only happens when you give something that you don't have to give, because then you're expecting something in return. Let's see. I'm still drinking my greens. It's taking me forever because I'm talking so much. These are my greens. I mentioned in the beginning. I love them so much. And I put my creatine in here too. I've been trying to be more consistent at drinking my creatine because it's incredible for your body. Let me see. You definitely came across very genuine. Wish you all the success in life. Of course, we can all benefit from you sharing your insights. Yeah, exactly. We all have things that we can learn from each other, and that's the beauty about it, right? We're all different, and our different is what makes us amazing. And yeah. How do we join your members? Right now I don't have a members only group. What you can do is you can subscribe to my channel and come and join me when I do my lives. I will look into that because I do want to create like a members only group for a lot of reasons. One, I can talk about more things that are maybe more so controversial topics that you're not really supposed to talk about on YouTube. Number two, like I mentioned before, I want to create a community, which I mean, I'm kind of really doing with YouTube in the first place. So I guess this isn't really a bad place to start, but I will look into that because I've noticed that I've seen that with a few of my mentors that I follow here on YouTube is that they were creating like a, what is it called? Like a members only platform, I guess, that they offer now on YouTube. And I just haven't looked into how that's possible. I don't know if there's like a eligibility thing, meaning you have to have like a certain amount of watch time or what's the other thing? Subscriber count and stuff like that, because there's certain things you have to like meet the requirements of. I would love to support your journey. Yeah, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate the support. I love it. Now I have my virtual besties, but I'm probably going to sign off here in a second. I'm going to be going to the gym because guess what? Your girl's consistent with her health and fitness. If that's one thing that I think I excel at, it is my health and fitness. I have been very consistent at that, even during very challenging times of my life, but that just happens to be something that I think helps me out a lot mentally, even during challenging times. What else was I going to mention? Let me check my notes to make sure I didn't forget to touch on anything. I will be back again. I told myself I wanted to do about 3 to 5 lives a week. Originally, I started by overcommitting myself, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do a live every single day. Well, some days I'm more busy than others, and I don't want to overcommit. And some days I'm traveling, and it's not realistic because I'm in airports, and sometimes they don't have Wi-Fi connection or data, so that's unrealistic. So you guys can look forward to seeing me at least 3 days a week, sometimes 5, right? And most of the time I'm shooting to be on around, I think I told people in between 12 and 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So that's when I'm looking to be on here to go live. That may change a little bit when I'm traveling. So if I remember to let you guys know, I most likely will, but I'll let you guys know when I'm traveling, for example, to Colombia. And I can let you know because there probably is going to be a little bit of a time change there and my schedule will be different. But yeah, let's see. Thanks again for your time. And yes, go to the gym or we will get after you. Yes, please do. I don't know how you're going to know if I did or didn't go because, you know, but thanks for being my accountability partners. Yeah, thanks, Danny. I'm excited to have you on here. Just stumbled on this live. Now can't wait to see more of all the best. Speak soon. Yeah, thanks so much, Matt. I look forward to seeing you guys again and chatting with you. You guys have been really fun and very interactive, which I love. So, yeah. I'm going to go train some back today, maybe some back and hamstrings. And You know what would be a really cool topic that we can touch on maybe in the next few days? Let's do a health live. Let's do one where I talk to you guys about a little bit more about my routine, what I do, kind of what my gym routine looks like, what I eat, how I eat, and then I can share some really cool topics and tips with you because boy, oh boy, I have a lot I could share around health, and I think you guys could really benefit from it. So I will do that maybe tomorrow, and if not tomorrow, then maybe Sunday. So anyways, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. If I don't see you guys, then have a great weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.